Welcome to A Slightly Better Life, the channel where we stop chasing perfection and start making life slightly better, one small change at a time. I want to share something that has transformed my life entirely. Now, the concept may not be new to you, but when put into practice, it is literally life changing. When COVID happened, I was one of the fortunate people who was able to transition to a work from home model. And the one thing I clearly remember saying to myself out loud, in fact, was I did not want to waste the opportunity that working from home was about to allow me. Whether it was decluttering my home, remodeling a room, starting an exercise program, or trying to eat healthy, I had a lot of new habits I wanted to implement while I was working from home. But to be honest with you, the thought of actually starting any of the habits seemed overwhelming, exhausting, too big, and it felt like it would take forever to accomplish them. So, other than moving a few of my prior weekend to dos, like my laundry and grocery shopping, to a weekday, thereby giving me more free time on the weekends, my intention of starting all these new habits and programs didn't get far at all. In fact, I didn't do anything. Now, one thing you should know about me is I am someone who has always tended to be the type of person who was either do it all or do nothing. But as I've gotten older, I've become much better at letting go of that and understanding that a little bit is better than nothing. But still, when I looked at my list and all the things I wanted to accomplish, I just couldn't seem to get started. And yet I intellectually knew that if I could just get started, start somewhere small, I'd gain momentum, I'd feel better, and I'd have something to build on. One thing that made it more difficult was I was recovering from a surgery that impaired my physical ability to vigorously move. So that was super depressing because I wasn't able to do all the physical stuff I did before. And the surgery and recovery was long and painful. So it actually added to my inability to actually get started on any of the things I wanted to. So after months of doing nothing but staring at my list and then getting depressed that I wasn't doing anything on the list and I was wasting the opportunity to work from home, and then considering myself a procrastinating loser, well, I just sort of gave up. Now, another thing you should know about me, which I believe has been my saving grace, is I've always been a self help, self improvement person. I started journaling when I was in grade school. I devoured growth related information. And with all the social media platforms and technology, I've devoured even more information related to all types of self development, self improvement, whether it was related to personal growth, time management, habit stacking, or faith, you name it. If it fell in that category, I was listening to it. I listened to or read from hundreds of experts, and I absorbed all their teachings, and their concepts were inside of me. So I knew what to do intellectually, but again, I just couldn't seem to get started. Then one day during my lunch break, I was really stiff from sitting at my computer at home. And I was like, you should go out and put your tennis shoes on and go out for a walk around the neighborhood. But just thinking about that already exhausted me. So I told myself, just walk in the backyard for 1 minute. And if you do that, you could consider that a win for the day. So, with my sweatpants on, no bra, yep, you heard it, no bra, slippers on my feet, and a hair clip in my hair, I set my iPhone timer to 1 minute and I went outside in my backyard. And my backyard isn't huge at all. And I slowly walked for 1 minute in a circle. And like every expert I read, that felt good. It felt like I at least did something that day, something toward my ultimate goal, which was I wanted to start walking again. It wasn't big. I wasn't going to lose 30 pounds by doing this. I wasn't going to gain muscle, but it wasn't about that. It was about just getting started. It was about not feeling overwhelmed by the end goal and actually seeing that I could take a step. So that started me walking in my backyard looking like a hot mess for 1 minute every day. And then eventually 1 minute went to 3 and 3 minutes went to 10. And until this day, I still make sure to walk at least 10 minutes a day. Again, it was just about getting started, starting somewhere and being consistent with the habit and not worrying about the ultimate goal. And that day began the implementation of micro habits into my life. They have been the most life-changing thing I have ever done. And 6 years later, all the habits and projects I wanted to do, I have done on a consistent basis. And that's the ultimate key. It's not about looking at the long-term goal, because that'll come later. It's about starting with the smallest action and being consistent with that action. Because if you do that, you will eventually hit your long-term goal. And those small actions, well, they will eventually turn into your habits. So, in my habit tracker, even till this day, I have walked 10 minutes a day. Now, many days and 6 years later, I put on my tennis shoes and I put the bra on. I'll put my sun visor on and I'll walk in the neighborhood for 30 to 40 minutes. But if all I can do, if all I can manage is 10 minutes, I consider and I continue to count that as a victory. Because as you'll hear me repeat on this channel, it's about the habit of being consistent each day and moving my body. And some days when it was raining or it was too hot to walk in my backyard, I walked around my house for 10 minutes. I'll walk up and down my small hallway because I don't want to break the habit. Now, some people are going to tell you walking 1 minute is a joke. It's not going to accomplish anything. And they're right from the perspective that you're not going to get in shape and lose weight by only walking 1 minute a day. But it's not about that yet. It's about starting somewhere. You have to start somewhere so you can create the habit that you can build on. That 1 minute 6 years ago turned into a habit of walking. And again, some days on weekends, I'll walk 30 minutes. And other days, I'll walk 10 minutes in my house down the hallway. Or now what I do is I walk in the living room in a circle while the TV is on. It's just about starting. I was never going to accomplish the ultimate goal if I couldn't just get myself to start somewhere. So, what I realized was I needed to create micro habits in every part of my life. Habits where the entry point was so low, so minimal. In the example I just gave you, it was walking in my backyard with no bra and slippers on for just 1 minute. But I at least started doing something toward my ultimate goal. So, if you're feeling like I was, and actually like I still do today, think of the lowest entry point to something that you want to accomplish and just start. Even if it's 30 seconds, you have to start somewhere. Time is going to go by whether you start putting in micro habits or you don't. So pick the lowest entry point and start somewhere today. In this podcast, I'm going to continue to talk more about the various micro habits I implemented that changed my life and how you can start a micro habit. I'm also going to talk about different concepts like shifting your internal dialogue from self-criticism to someone who likes themselves, and designing an intentionally structured day that aligns with the life you want to live. And the hardest conversations we're going to have on this channel will be around taking a hard, honest look at yourself, your decisions, and the people around you. I'll also share the 3 personal rules I learned early and I live by that have completely changed my life and how I react to men, how I spot who people actually are, and how to face the truth without sugarcoating it. All these concepts have changed how I function through my life in a positive way. So, I'd love to hear from you. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave me a comment and tell me what's one micro habit you're going to start this week, or if that seems too overwhelming, that you're going to start this month. What's the project you've been putting off that you want to start today, and you're going to do it by implementing a micro habit? I can't wait to hear from you, and I can't wait to hear what step you're going to take. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future episodes. I'll continue sharing simple ideas that have made my life just a little bit better, and hopefully they'll make your life slightly better too. And remember, you don't need a perfect life, just a slightly better one. I know you have thousands of channels and podcasts you could be listening to, so thank you for choosing mine today. I truly hope you'll come back. Now, let's all take a deep breath. Inhale and exhale. And if no one's told you this lately, you matter and you are worthy. Until next time.